Part 13. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Ju. Chapter 121. Chapter 121. What blind thing dares to touch you? After Shen Tianxing finished speaking, he directly stretched out his hand to pinch the spell, made a talisman in the void, and drove the calming talisman and the calming talisman into Li Xiaoxia's body one after another. As soon as these two talismans entered Li Xiaoxia's body, Li Xiaoxia instantly felt her heart calm down, and her originally chaotic brain also woke up. She smiled and said to Shen Tianxing, "Xiaoxing, your talisman-making skills are getting better and better. How many talismans can you now make out of nothing in the blink of an eye?" Shen Tianxing nodded and asked her with a smile, "Mom, are you feeling better now?" Li Xiaoxia smiled and rubbed her head, and said softly, "It's much better. With my little star here, nothing is a problem. My little star is the best." When Shen Tianxing heard Li Xiaoxia's last words to coax the children, she also laughed along with Li Xiaoxia. No matter how powerful she is, her mother and father will treat her like a child. However, as long as her relatives are happy, she will be happy. As soon as Li Xiaoxia and Shen Tianxing, mother and daughter, entered the hall, Shen Wenru and his twin brother cast their eyes directly on Shen Tianxing. The eldest brother of the twins, Shen Tiankai, was the first to say, "Sister, why did you come back so late?" Shen Tianlin also said, "Sister, we are all worried about you. My parents have gone outside the door several times. If you don't come back, Dad is going to call you and look for you." Shen Wenru also asked her with a concerned look, "Xiaoxing, why did you come back so late? Did something happen?" His baby daughter is very well behaved and sensible, and she never lets them worry. If something doesn't happen, she will definitely not delay her return home. Sure enough, he heard Shen Tianxing reply, "Something happened on the road and we were delayed." Shen Wenru looked at her again and said lightly, "I told you that I would pick you up from school, but you refused to let me go. Look, if I don't pick you up, something will happen to you. Are you okay?" Before Shen Tianxing had time to answer, Li Xiaoxia had already said to him anxiously, "Wenru, you don't know, someone wants to deal with our little star again, and they also want to kill our little star with a car. If not, our little star is capable, but I'm afraid we won't be able to see him anymore." When Shen Wenru and the twins heard this, they stood up in shock. "What? Someone wants to kill Xiaoxing, sister, again?" Shen Wenru was so angry that he said with an angry look on his face, "Xiaoxing, do you know who is behind this?" Shen Tianxing replied softly, "I have only found out that it is someone from China. They have placed a reward order on the computer for the international assassin organization Black Assassin in country E. The reward is 5 million. As for who this person is, I haven't yet find out, and after the engagement is over, I will go to the Blackthorns in country E and settle the accounts with them." The bounty of 5 million was considered a large sum in 2000, which shows how strongly the other party wanted her dead. What Shen Tianxing didn't say was that she had already observed the astrology with her eyes, and the astrology showed that the danger this time still came from the capital. The Wei family in the capital that had attacked her last time was extremely corrupt and had been quickly dealt with by the Dugu family's vigorous and resolute actions. And this time, who wants her to die? Blackthorn's mission this time was unsuccessful. Will they send someone to assassinate her again? Will it endanger the safety of her family? Shen Tianxing did not tell his parents these worries, but just said to them, "Don't worry, I will solve this matter." Shen Wenru frowned and asked, "Xiaoxing, do you want to tell Zi11 about this? We are going to the capital tomorrow. You are not familiar with the place. I am afraid that if they fail to kill you today, the killer will follow us again. Go to the capital to take action." Shen Tianxing thought about it and decided that he should tell Dugu Zixi so that the Dugu family could also be prepared, just in case. Shen Tianxing said to Shen Wenru, "Dad, don't worry, I'll tell him soon." Shen Wenru saw a calm and confident look on his daughter's face. He knew that his daughter was confident in everything she did, but as a father, he was anxious and panicked when something happened, and was not as calm as his daughter. Chen Tianxing smelled the aroma of the food wafting over the dining table, smiled and said to them, "Okay, nothing will happen. Let's eat." After the family finished eating, Shen Tianxing spoke to his parents and younger brother and went back to his room. After she entered the space, she found that Tugu Zixi had not entered the space today, and she had no idea what he was busy with outside. Shen Tianxing sent a message to him with his mind, "Zixi, Zixi, are you done? Come into the space when you are done. I have something to tell you." In the hall of Tugu's house, Tugu Zixi was sitting with her family, discussing how to receive the Shen family and Shen Tianxing's 3 good classmates tomorrow. Tugu Zixi heard Shen Tianxing's message. He immediately stood up and said to Mr. Tugu and the others, "Master, Grandma, Dad, Mom, Xiao Xing is summoning me and saying that he has something to do with me. I'll go first." As soon as Mr. Tugu and the others heard that Shen Tianxing was looking for him, they quickly waved to him, "Go quickly, don't keep Xiao Xing waiting." "Then I'll go upstairs." After saying that, Tugu Zixi's figure swayed and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Mr. Tugu smiled happily at the other family members and said, "Xiao Xing is really amazing. In such a short time, our Zixi has been transformed, as if he has become a different person, and he is becoming more and more powerful." Tugu Junan also smiled and nodded, "Dad, this is a good thing. Our Tugu family has a successor. Moreover, I have a good feeling that our Tugu family will definitely be able to succeed in the hands of Zixi and Tianxing, take it to the next level." Mrs. Tugu also smiled and said, "Yes, I have such a premonition too. The Shen family has always said that Tianxing is the lucky star of their Shen family. If Tianxing enters our Tugu family in the future, it will be the lucky star of our Tugu family." Yaningning also joined in the fun, "I also think Zi11 is too discerning. I just found him a wife with the best internal and external conditions." The whole family laughed happily, and the atmosphere in the hall was very warm. After Tugu Zixi entered the room, she locked the door and stepped directly into the life space. He saw Shen Tianxing sitting on the sofa in the living room with a sullen face. He quickly stepped forward, took her hand and asked softly, "Xiao Xing, what's wrong with you? Is someone bullying you? I'll take it out on you." Shen Tianxing looked at him faintly, sighed softly, and said, "On my way home from school today, someone wanted to hit me to death with a car." Before Shen Tianxing finished speaking, Tugu Zixi shouted in shock and anger, "What did you say? Who dares to touch you with no eyes?" Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 122. Seeing that he was anxious, Shen Tianxing quickly patted his hand and said with an angry smile, "Don't be anxious yet, just listen to what I have to say." Tugu Zixi suppressed the overwhelming anger in her heart that wanted to tear those scum to pieces. She was dissatisfied with her current heartless appearance and snorted arrogantly, "Then keep talking." Shen Tianxing went on to say, "I have looked at the stars before. The people who want to kill me are from your side of the capital. I'm afraid that if they fail to kill me today, they might do it in the capital in the next 2 days. Zixi, do you want to make some arrangements as a precaution?" When Tugu Zixi heard that it was someone from the capital who was responsible for the murderous attack on Shen Tianxing, she immediately became angry, and hateful. His whole body was filled with chills, and his deep eyes, as dark as the night, shone with an icy chill that was as real as the real thing. He held her hand tightly and said as if he was swearing, "Xiao Xing, don't worry, as long as they dare to do something in the capital, I will chop off their claws. If I find out who did it, no matter what, no matter who they are, I will never let them go." At this time, Tugu Zixi, who had an outburst of temper, was like a glaring King Kong, with an astonishing aura. Shen Tianxing seemed to see the arrogant master in his previous life again. She knew that what Dugu Zixi said was true. Just like the short-sighted Wei family in the capital last time, such a huge family also pulled it out as soon as he was told. Shen Tianxing knew that he was the one who had done something secretly. Otherwise, it would not be so easy to take down the top-ranked Wei family with only the secular power of the Dugu family. Only by using the magical power of the monks can they quickly die. Shen Tianxing asked him, "Then what are you going to do?" Dugu Zixi uttered 4 words coldly, "Strict investigation to the end." After saying that, his tone softened again, and he stretched out his hands to hold her face. His voice instantly became gentle, and he said with doting, "Xiao Xing, I won't let anyone ruin our engagement." Shen Tianxing looked back at him with bright eyes, took his hand, and said with a smile, "I believe you. This engagement is what I have been looking forward to for a long time, Zixi, we will always be together in the future." "Right." Dugu Zixi responded with a serious face, "Of course. We will be together forever and ever. We will never be separated. If we want to live, we will live together, if we want to die, we will die together." Shen Tianxing was so moved that he hugged him and followed his words, "Okay, we will be together forever. We will never be separated. If we want to live, we will live together, if we want to die, we will die together." Shen Tianxing knew from the moment he abandoned his immortal body and chased her into this world that Dugu Zixi's affection for her was not just for a lifetime, but for every life to follow. How many men can be so powerful and affectionate in the world? If she didn't seize the opportunity quickly, what if he was deceived by others? Although, with Dugu Zixi's devotion to her, this possibility was almost zero, but Shen Tianxing did not want to give any woman even the slightest chance. The two held each other tenderly for a while. Dugu Zixi thought about going out to arrange some things, so she let go of Shen Tianxing and said to her gently, "Xiao Xing, I have to go out for a while to arrange some things. Can you rest first?" Shen Tianxing smiled and said to him, "Go ahead. I'll go practice for a while too." Dugu Zixi reached out and caressed her face, and said with reluctance, "Okay, I'll go out first. When I'm done, I'll come in to accompany you." Shen Tianxing smiled and nodded. Dugu Zixi kissed her again and then stepped out of the space. In the living room of Dugu's house, the family was still sitting there chatting about the recent events in the capital. Old man Dugu suddenly saw Dugu Zixi walking downstairs with a stern and handsome face, and asked in surprise, "Why are you back so soon? Did something happen?" Dugu Zixi hummed lightly and said to her family with a sullen face, "When Xiao Xing came home from school today, she was sniped again." The people in the Dugu family were also shocked. "What? Who did it?" Dugu Zixi sneered, "Xiao Xing has read the astrology, and it was done by people from our capital city. I just don't know which unsighted company made it." Mr. Dugu slammed the table hard and said angrily, "That's unreasonable. It seems that the Wei family can't deter these people, so let's take out this family again. I want to see who else dares to touch the little one next star on one finger." Mr. Dugu didn't waste any time and sent out a secret order for a strict investigation overnight. The entire capital seemed safe and sound on the surface, but underneath it was turbulent. After Dugu Zixi arranged the things at hand, she entered the space again and saw Shen Tianxing sitting cross-legged in the training room, practicing with his eyes closed. When Dugu Zixi thought that his current cultivation level was far inferior to that of Xiao Xing, he did not dare to be lazy and found a seat to sit down, meditate and practice with her. One night passed in the blink of an eye. Shen Tianxing adjusted the timer in her consciousness, and when she reached 7 o'clock in the morning, she would wake up naturally. When she opened her eyes and saw Dugu Zixi sitting not far away practicing, a trace of tenderness flashed in her eyes. The days when the two of them were together made her feel very stable and happy. Thinking about the fact that today his whole family will go to the capital, and tomorrow they will get engaged, Shen Tianxing's heart is full of expectations. Hope everything goes smoothly. Hopefully, their engagement ceremony will also be completed successfully. Shen Tianxing strained his ears to listen to the movement outside the space. After discovering that his parents and younger brothers were all up, Shen Tianxing was ready to go out. She glanced at Tugozixi, who was still practicing, and when she was about to wake him up, she saw Tugozixi slowly opened his eyes and raised a warm and touching smile towards her. Shen Tianxing smiled back at him. "Zixi, are you awake? I was just about to call you." Tugozixi jumped up, flew to her side, and picked her up. "Let's go wash our faces and brush our teeth." Shen Tianxing patted him gently. "Put me down and I'll go by myself." Tugozixi said stubbornly, "No, I just like holding you like this." Shen Tianxing looked at him. Although she was speechless at his behavior on the surface, the joy and happiness in her eyes revealed her mood at the moment. She was happy for the care and romance he showed inadvertently. The two lingered in the bathroom for a long time before coming out. Tugozixi pestered Shen Tianxing and insisted on going out with her and having breakfast together. Shen Tianxing had no choice but to agree to take him out. Shen Wenru, Li Xiaoxia, and their twin brothers had long been accustomed to Shen Tianxing and Tugozixi's appearance, so they were not surprised by Tugozixi's appearance, but welcomed it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 123. Tugozixi was also very respectful to her future father-in-law and mother-in-law, and greeted them with a sweet smile. "Uncle, Aunt, good morning." The twin brother Tugozixi was not left behind and also greeted them. "Xiaoqi, Xiaolin, hello." Shen Wenru and Li Xiaoxia both smiled and replied, "Zixi, good morning." But the twins deliberately shouted, "Hello, brother-in-law." Tugozixi was stunned for a moment, and the next moment, the smile on Najin's face became even brighter, and he felt more comfortable looking at the twin brothers. "Be good. When we go to the capital, my brother-in-law will buy you gifts." The twins looked at each other, a smirk flashing in their eyes. They knew that Tugozixi would definitely like the title brother-in-law, and that was indeed the case. As soon as Shen Tianxin saw the expressions on the twins' faces, she knew they were shouting that on purpose. She couldn't help but glared at them and said to them with lip language, "Two little villains." The twins both made faces at her, and then giggled mischievously. Tugozixi is an only child and has no biological brothers or sisters. He has been sick since childhood and has no siblings to accompany him, so he grew up alone. Seeing the emotional exchange between Shen Tianxing and the twins, Tugozixi felt a little envious in her heart. He thought to himself that when he and Xiaoxin get married, he must have more children and never let his children experience the isolation, loneliness, and pain he experienced in his childhood. Tugozixi had a warm breakfast at Shen's house. Although he was reluctant to separate from Shen Tianxing, he also knew the seriousness of the matter. He had to go back to the capital first and make arrangements for pickup and accommodation for the Shen family. He could not stay here for a long time. He must do these things personally to show his sincerity to the Shen family. After Shen Tianxing sent away Tugozixi, the Shen family's grandfather, grandmother, Uncle Shen, Aunt Ma Hongying, and cousin Shen Tianrui also came over. Their flight today is a charter flight at 11 a.m. They will depart from home at 8 a.m., then pass through the city to pick up their second uncle Shen Wenzheng and son Yazi, then pick up Zhanghua, Wu Haishan, and Gao Lingfeng at the gate of the No. 1 middle school, and then go directly Haikan International Airport. Today's schedule is very tight. No matter which link is delayed, you may not be able to board the plane on time. What took them to the airport was a 22-seat luxury minibus specially used by Shen's Ecological Manor Resort Hotel to pick up and drop off guests. The driver, Master Su, was also an old employee of the hotel and his driving skills were very good. Before getting in the car, Shen Tianxing asked everyone again, "Grandpa, Grandma, Uncle, Aunt, Brother, do you have your ID cards with you? Bring it. Bring them all." Hearing their answers, Shen Tianxing smiled and said, "Just bring them with you. Then let's get in the car and get ready to go." Before Shen Tianxing went out, he had already made a divination for today's trip. The divination showed that it was auspicious, so there should be no accidents during today's trip. The killer sent by Blackthorn just happened last night, so they probably won't send a second person here so soon. Before starting the car, Shen Tianxing quietly added a safety charm to the driver, Master Su. After picking up their second uncle Shen Wenzheng and son Yazi, they went to pick up Zhang Hua, Wu Haishan, and Gao Lingfeng, and the journey was smooth to Haikan International Airport. It was only 10 o'clock when we arrived at the airport, and there was still 1 hour before the scheduled departure time. After the driver, Master Su, dropped them off, Shen Tianxing gave him a red envelope and asked him to go back first. At 11 o'clock, the charter flight took off on time and flew towards the capital. After more than 10 years, Shen Wenru and Li Xiaoxia set foot on the road to the capital again. Thinking of the old events more than 10 years ago, Li Xiaoxia felt a little nervous. When I go to the capital this time, I shouldn't run into Xiaoxing's biological parents, right? Mrs. Lin has never contacted them since she handed over the child to them. They don't know how Mrs. Lin is doing? Li Xiaoxia asked Lin's sister-in-law's relatives about Lin's sister-in-law. According to her relatives, Lin's sister-in-law should have been working for that family within a few years after they brought Xiaoxing back. Later, Li Xiaoxia did not ask again. It's her business. If Mrs. Lin was really cruel and killed her at her master's command, Shen Tianxing would have had to go through some tricks if he wanted to survive. Therefore, Shen Tianxing also remembered Mrs. Lin's grace of survival, and thought that when he meets her again, he must repay her well. I wonder if there will be a chance to meet Mrs. Lin again this time when I go to the capital? Li Xiaoxia and Shen Tianxing were both thinking about Mrs. Lin, but at this time, Mrs. Lin was still staying at the Ning family, working for Mrs. Ning. In about 2 hours, the charter flight landed at Beijing's International Airport. Shen Tianxing and the others took the VIP channel. As soon as they walked out, they saw Tu Guozixi and Yan Ningning, mother and son, waiting at the VIP exit. As soon as Tu Guozixi saw Shen Tianxing and the others coming out, her eyes lit up and she said to Yan Ningning beside her, "Mom, Xiaoxing and the others are coming out." Yan Ningning raised her eyes and saw that it was indeed Shen Tianxing and the others. She immediately raised her hand towards Shen Tianxing, "Xiaoxing, here." Shen Tianxing also smiled and waved to them, "Aunt Ning, Zixi." As soon as Li Xiaoxia and Yan Ningning, the two prospective relatives, met, they exchanged pleasantries again. Yan Ningning also greeted everyone in the Shen family politely. She was responsible for greeting these elders. Tu Guozixi and Shen Tianxing were responsible for greeting young Shen Tianrui, Zhang Hua, Wu Haishan, and Gao Lingfeng. Tu Guozixi and the others also drove a luxury minibus, and the whole group sat in the same car. After everyone got in the car and the car started, Tu Guozixi smiled and said to everyone, "The place where we will hold the engagement banquet tomorrow is at the Imperial City Hotel. We will go to the Imperial City Hotel to go through the accommodation formalities in a while and wait until we put it away. After collecting our luggage, we went to eat. After eating, I will take everyone around to see the scenery of the capital. Xiaoxing, what do you think?" Shen Tianxing smiled and responded, "Just look at the arrangements." Tu Guozixi smiled and acted as a tour guide again, introducing everyone to the scenery outside the car. Seeing that he spoke clearly and eloquently, Shen Tianxing knew that Dugu Zixi must have put in a lot of hard work to welcome their arrival. The journey from the airport back to the Imperial Hotel was unexpectedly smooth. The Royal Capital Hotel is very luxurious, stylish, and magnificent. Fortunately, the Shen's ecological manor and resort hotel run by the Shen family are as beautiful as a fairyland, and they have seen some big scenes. Now seeing this extraordinary Imperial Capital Hotel, they don't appear to be cautious or uneasy, but are calm and composed. At most, they have some curiosity and interest in the big hotels in this big place like the Imperial Capital. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 124. Dugu Zixi asked them to rest in the rest area of the lobby first, while he collected their ID cards and took them over to check in. When the waiter at the front desk saw a rare handsome man like Dugu Zixi coming to complete the formalities, he was so excited that his face turned red and his voice became coquettish. Dugu Zixi frowned after hearing this, handed over everyone's ID cards with a straight face, and told them the room numbers they had booked before. As soon as she heard that the Dugu family had reserved the presidential suite and reserved an entire floor, the front desk lady instantly brightened up and no longer dared to shoot at Dugu Zixi. These top nobles in the capital circle are not something they can afford to offend. In fact, there is really no need for Dugu Zixi to handle such small things as check-in procedures in person. But just as he expected, the Shen family watching Dugu Zixi running around for them really made him have a lot of good impressions in front of the Shen family. After arranging everyone's accommodation, Dugu Zixi and Yaningning took them to the hotel's most famous private restaurant and had a very sumptuous lunch. By the time we finished lunch, it was already past 3 in the afternoon. Unable to go far away, Dugu Zixi took the Shen family to the nearby ancient palace, the imperial capital square, and the most prosperous commercial street in the capital. Until 6 o'clock in the evening, Dugu Zixi and Yaningning led them back to Dugu's house for dinner. Hearing that it was a family banquet for the two families to meet, Zhang Hua, Wu Haishan, and Gao Lingfeng said to Shen Tianxing, "Xiao Xing, we can't disturb your family banquet, so we won't go. The three of us will be there by ourselves. Take a walk around here." Shen Tianxing advised, "If nothing happens, let's go together." Wu Haishan shook his head, "It's better not to do it, so as not to embarrass us. It would be more fun for the three of us to play by ourselves." Zhang Hua also said, "Yes, Tianxing, you go ahead, we will have a lot of fun ourselves, you don't have to worry about us." When Shen Tianxing saw that none of them were willing to go, he didn't force them anymore. He told them, "Then you go out and play. If you want to buy anything, feel free to buy it. It will be recorded in my account. If you need anything, call me." Before inviting them to attend her engagement ceremony, Shen Tianxing had promised them that she would cover all their expenses in the capital. Zhang Hua chuckled and said, "We have money of our own and don't need yours. You can just live happily by yourself. Don't worry about us. We are three big men and cannot be bullied by ordinary people." Wu Haishan also puffed up his chest, "That's right, just feel free to go. Go quickly, they are calling you." Shen Tianxing smiled helplessly, "Okay, then please pay attention to your safety and remember to call me if you need anything." Wu Haishan smiled and joked, "I know, little housekeeper." Seeing Shen Tianxing and his party getting into the car, Zhang Hua, Wu Haishan, and Gao Lingfeng also discussed where to go to play and where to eat delicious food. Young people all have a flying heart. When they arrive in the capital, they must not play hard or eat hard. Shen Tianxing, Dugu Zixi, and Yaningning led the Shen family through many checkpoints and finally arrived at Dugu's house. After receiving the news that they were coming, Mr. Dugu and his wife, Dugu Junan, Mr. Dugu's 3 daughters, sons-in-law, and many grandchildren, all stood at the gate of Dugu's house to welcome the one they had in mind. Distinguished guests, almost in-laws. The Shen family was really flattered to see them being received so grandly and with such thoughtful etiquette. Mr. Shen stretched out his hands and held them tightly with Mr. Dugu, and kept saying, "How can we let you and your wife come out to greet us? You and your wife are so polite." Mr. Dugu laughed and said, you should. You have come all the way to give such a well-raised little star to our family's Ixi. No matter how much we do, it is still what we should do. Brother Shen, you just stop saying polite words to us, I will be unhappy." Having said that, Mr. Shen also smiled cheerfully and said, okay, I won't say any more. I'll give you 2 glasses of wine later, okay? Mr. Dugu laughed even louder, ha ha ha, you can have this. Let's go into the house and talk again, let's go inside and talk again. Everyone entered the hall with a smile, led by Mr. Dugu and his wife, Mr. Shen and his wife, and sat in a group. Dugu Zixi introduced his 3 aunts, uncle, and others to the Shen family. Mr. Dugu and his wife gave birth to 3 daughters and 1 son in their lifetime. The eldest daughter is Dugu Junmei. She married diplomat Wang Suyang and gave birth to a son Wang Yi and a daughter Wang Hong. The second daughter, Dugu Junlin, married Du Qingming, the president of the High Court, and gave birth to 2 sons, Du Minghao and Du Minghong. The third daughter, Dugu Junzu, married Cheng Weian, a soldier in the army, and gave birth to only 1 daughter, Cheng Chen. The eldest brother, Dugu Junmei, is now in charge of the Dugu family's family business, controls the economic lifeline of the Dugu family, and is the manager of the Dugu family's economy. She also has a small stake in Dugu family enterprises, but she is not the largest controlling shareholder. The current largest shareholder is still the old man of the Dugu family. The second oldest, Dugu Junlin, is a professor at Beijing University. The third youngest, Dugu Junzu, works in the logistics department of the army and is a husband and wife. The 3 aunts also gave Shen Tianxing gifts to express their love for Shen Tianxing. Shen Tianxing also thanked them and gave her a gift in return. After the 2 families introduced each other, Mr. Dugu waved his hand, let's go and eat first. Let's eat and drink while chatting, ha ha ha. After walking a few steps, Mr. Dugu turned back and asked Shen Tianxing, Xiaoxing, do you still have your good wine? Do you want to contribute a few jars today so that we can have a good drink? Only Shen Tianxing's good wine will keep you from getting drunk, make you feel comfortable all over, and make you energetic the next day, unlike ordinary liquor, which will make you unable to get up tomorrow if you drink too much. Shen Tianxing smiled and said, yes, enough. Shen Tianxing had prepared several jars of wine early in the morning and put them among the gifts that came with him, preparing to give them to the old man. When he heard what the old man said, he immediately called to Dugu Zixi and brought all the jars of good wine over. Mr. Dugu saw it and laughed happily, okay, I can have a good drink again today. Mrs. Dugu looked at his old drunkard appearance and said with disgust, look at you, you look like you haven't drunk in 800 years. How shameful. After everyone heard this, they laughed again. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 125. Mr. Dugu smiled cheekily at his old wife and said, what's so shameful about this? Our Chinese nation's tradition is that we like to talk about feelings at the wine table. Only when we're drunk can we become more in love. Are you right? All the men responded in unison, the old man is right. Ha 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 ha. When Mrs. Dugu saw everyone praising the old man, she smiled angrily, just let him go. This meal, with cups and dendrobiums intertwined, was lively and enjoyable for both the host and the guest. The moment Dugu Zixi and Yanning took the Shen family back to Dugu's home, the entire elite circle in the capital was shocked. After the Ning family heard the news, they became even more angry. Ning Fenji, who heard the news, was crying pitifully towards Ning Changshen in the living room and said, "Grandpa, didn't you say that you have sent people to deal with that little bitch? Why can't that little bitch do anything?" "No, but you made it to Beijing smoothly." After hearing the bad news, Ning Changshen was as restless as Ning Fengji. Seeing Ning Fengji's crying look, he felt unlucky and couldn't help but lose his temper and shouted angrily at her, okay, why are you crying? What's there to cry about? Seeing the result like this, I'm more anxious than you. I've spent a lot of money but nothing has been done. I still want to ask what's going on." Ning Fengji said anxiously, "Grandpa, go and ask now. Our family's money cannot be wasted in vain." Ning Changsheng snorted coldly, "You have to ask." After saying that, Ning Changsheng went upstairs, entered the study, took out his mobile phone, and dialed a number. As soon as the call over there came through, Ning Changsheng asked sternly, "Go and ask Blackthorn what's going on? Didn't I ask them to get that target before tomorrow? Did they do it? What happened to the target? Did you enter Beijing successfully?" The person on the other end replied, "I have already asked, and the Blackthorns replied that the target is very difficult. They have sent a 14th ranked assassin there, but he died. They are now asking us to add more price." When Ning Changsheng heard this, he was so angry that he said, "What? I gave them 5 million, but they didn't accomplish anything, and now they want to increase the price. Why don't they go and grab it?" The person on the other side was silent. Ning Changsheng took a deep breath, suppressed the anger in his heart, and asked again, "How much more does the other party want to add?" "Another 5 million more, we will fight until death." Ning Changsheng gritted his teeth, "Okay, I'll give them another 5 million. If it doesn't work, huh?" The person on the other side of the phone smiled coldly, "Even if it doesn't work, what else can you do with the Blackthorn? It's not like you have to hold it in. In any case, the Ning family has satisfied Blackthorn's conditions. If Blackthorn really cannot complete this task, it will not be good for Blackthorn's reputation. Once it is publicized, Blackthorn will not want to do business. The price of 10 million would be very worthwhile if he could kill that woman and let Ning Fengji take over." Of course Shen Tianxing didn't know that her biological grandfather had spent large sums of money time and time again to buy her life. At this time, she had returned to the Imperial Hotel from Dugu's house. Tomorrow, she and Zixi would hold a grand engagement ceremony in the banquet hall here. Just thinking about it made her feel excited. Shen Tianxing couldn't sleep, so he simply put a barrier in the hotel room to prevent others from peeping and monitoring, and then slipped into the space. Tonight, Dugu Zixi had not entered the space yet, and Shen Tianxing guessed that he might still be busy outside. Unable to calm down while practicing, Shen Tianxing simply went to collect medicinal materials, pick spiritual fruits, and then dive into the lake in space to fish. It wasn't until she was exhausted that she took a spirit-gathering pill, then sat down cross-legged to restore her exhausted spiritual energy. When she entered the state of meditation, Dugu Zixi also appeared in the space. He glanced tenderly at Shen Tianxing, who was practicing with his eyes closed, and sat down next to her cross-legged. Dugu Zixi looked at the time and saw that there were only 2 or 3 hours until dawn. He and Xiao Xing would soon become a fiancé. Like Shen Tianxing, he was excited, and full of expectations. With a smile on her lips, Dugu Zixi relaxed her mind, closed her eyes, and let her thoughts wander around. Just thinking about it, Dugu Zixi suddenly saw a door appearing in the depths of his sea of consciousness. The door was tightly shut. His conscious body flashed to the door, stretched out his hand and pushed hard. The door didn't open. Dugu Zixi always felt like something was calling him inside. He didn't give up, stretched out his hands again, and pushed forward hard. This time, the door exploded with a bang and slowly opened. Dugu Zixi saw a place too beautiful to be on earth, appearing in his mind. There are fairy mountains and spiritual waters here, cranes and birds here, exquisite pavilions, and charming fairy flowers and grass. Everything here felt so familiar to him, as if he had lived here for a long, long time. This is where? Just as Duguzixi was thinking this, she suddenly heard a delicate and crisp voice, "Master, Master, where are you? My disciple is back." Disciple. This voice is so familiar. Soon, Duguzixi saw a little girl with a pink and jade-like appearance, accompanied by two maids, trotting in from outside the gate. As she ran, she shouted, "Master, Master." Duguzixi soon saw a man with outstanding appearance in white fairy clothes appearing in front of the beautiful little girl. He hugged her with doting eyes and asked with a soft smile, "Little Xing, where did you go to play again?" When she saw the man's appearance clearly, Duguzixi's heart trembled. How come this man looks like him? That beautiful little girl is clearly the little Xing when she was young. Could it be that this is the memory of his past life sealed deep in his soul? Duguzixi looked at him crazily in his previous life, living a life of dependence on each other and loving each other. Little Xing grew up slowly under his utmost love. The little girl in her teens had just begun to fall in love and devoted all her love to him. Just when he was about to welcome her love with enthusiasm, he suddenly got a bad result that he didn't expect. He will be the doom of this child's life. They are destined not to be together. From then on, he started avoiding her. But she refused to give up and kept chasing after him. How many times when he saw her chasing after him so hard, he wanted to stop and hold her firmly in his arms to comfort her like she did when she was a child. But when he thought that she would die because of him, he hardened his heart and did not dare to look at her stubborn and affectionate face. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 126. But he didn't expect that even if he was not with her, she would still die. No. Although her immortal body is destroyed, her immortal soul is still there. Duguzixi spent a lot of effort in the fairy world and finally calculated the secular plane where Shen Tianxing would be reincarnated. In order to be able to be with Shen Tianxing after reincarnation, Duguzixi ignored the strong opposition of the immortal emperor and resolutely chose to abandon his immortal body, follow her, and be reincarnated in this secular plane. Although his body after rebirth was a bit useless, he had the opportunity to be honest with Xiao Xing. This also proves that he was right to risk his own life and reincarnate again. Duguzixi slowly opened her eyes flashing with dazzling light. He remembered. He remembered everything from his previous life. I wonder if Xiao Xing will be happy for him when he finds out that he has recovered the memory of his previous life. Shen Tianxing seemed to sense something, and when Duguzixi's burning eyes fell on her, she slowly opened her eyes. The eyes of the two people slowly became entangled in the air. Shen Tianxing instantly sensed the unique aura from her previous master. Her beautiful eyes widened in an instant, and she shouted with a trembling voice, "Master!" A faint smile flashed across Duguzixi's eyes, and she shouted softly, "Disciple!" Shen Tianxing's eyes turned red instantly, and he rushed towards him and hugged him tightly. "Master, are you really back? Are you really back? I'm not dreaming, am I?" Duguzixi opened her arms and hugged him, and her voice suddenly became low and magnetic. "Xiao Xing, it's me. I'm sorry for making you feel wronged." Shen Tianxing shook his head violently, looked up at him, and said with a tearful smile, "No. I'm not wronged. Really, I'm very happy. Master won't want me anymore in this life, right?" Duguzixi kissed her lips gently. "I will never let go in this life. We have all been reincarnated, and our fates have also changed. We can be together openly and justly. That's great. That's great. Shen Tianxing almost jumped up with joy. Her master is back. What makes her even more happy is that the current master has the vague coldness and domineeringness of his previous life, combined with the gentleness and warmth of this life, which is exactly in line with the perfect persona in her mind. He is still the master who loves her unconditionally. Dugozixi looked at her laughing and crying, and felt both pain and love in her heart. Dugozixi pulled Shen Tianxing into his arms, hugged her tightly, then lowered his head and kissed her lips. All the feelings accumulated in the previous life seemed to burst out at this moment. He kissed very intently, very affectionately, and very passionately. Shen Tianxing stretched out his hands and hooked his neck, kissing him deeply. The breath of the two people gradually becomes thicker. When each other is out of breath, they will let go of each other tacitly, and then kiss passionately again. If she wasn't still young and couldn't do those things, otherwise, today's two-person drama of love and affection might have been more intense, more fiery, and even more intoxicating for them. At this time, Shen Tianxing felt extremely happy. In this life, God was extremely kind to her. Not only did she get the eye of God, but she was also allowed to be with her master. But now, before they get engaged, the master has regained his memory. All these things feel so wonderful and smooth. At this time, Dugozixi also thanked God deeply in her heart. Thank God for allowing him to find his little star, thank God for allowing him to be with his little star, thank God for all the people who love him and his loved ones in this life. When the alarm on Shen Tianxing's cell phone outside rang, the loving couple finally reluctantly let go of each other. Dugozixi reached out and caressed Shen Tianxing's face and said, "My little star, wait for me." Shen Tianxing nodded vigorously, "I'll wait for you." Dugozixi kissed her forehead again, and then stepped out of the space. Today is his coming-of-age ceremony, and now that he is engaged to Xiaoxing, there are even more things to do. The coming-of-age ceremony starts at 12 o'clock noon. After the coming-of-age ceremony is completed, Mr. Dugu will personally announce the engagement of Dugozixi and Shen Tianxing. After Shen Tianxing watched Dugozixi leave the space, she washed herself in the space and then left the space. It's still early for the luncheon, and there's still breakfast to be had. Shen Tianxing isn't wearing his engagement dress right now, so it won't be too late to dress up after breakfast. As soon as she opened the door and came out, she saw that the hotel service staff had already brought a sumptuous breakfast. This presidential suite has 5 bedrooms. Mr. Shen, his wife, and their family of 5 all live in this presidential suite. When Shen Tianxing came out, he found that the whole family was already sitting in the restaurant, and she was the only one missing. When Li Xiaoxia saw her baby daughter coming out, she quickly greeted her, "Xiaoxing, come over for breakfast. The breakfast here is quite rich. Look, there are Chinese and Western snacks and pastries, and the table is full." Shen Tianxing said hello to Mr. Shen, the old lady, Shen Wenru, and his 2 younger brothers. Then he sat down at the dining table and said to everyone with a smile, "Everyone, let's eat." As they slowly finished their breakfast, Uncle Shen, aunt, cousin, second Uncle Shen Wenzheng, Sun Yazi, Zhang Hua, Wu Haishan, and Gao Lingfeng also came over to join them one after another. Second cousin Shen Tianzi, who works in the capital, and third cousin Shen Tianbo, fourth cousin Shen Tianyu, and fifth cousin Shen Tianrui, who are still in college, also rushed to the Royal Capital Hotel one after another after receiving the notice from Shen Tianxing. Come to attend Shen Tianxing's engagement party. Since these children went to school in the capital, their whole family has rarely been reunited. Unexpectedly, this time, they would be reunited in the capital. When the 4 cousins saw Shen Tianxing, they all hugged her hard. The third cousin Shen Tianbo, who was the most naughty and mischievous when he was a child, looked at Shen Tianxing with an expression of hatred. "Let me tell you, little Xing Xing, why were you abducted at such a young age? Fourth cousin Shen Tianyu also said, "It's all your brother's fault. If your brothers were by your side, they would definitely make those boys who want to abduct you suffer more and prevent them from succeeding so easily." Fifth cousin Shen Tianrui snorted coldly, "That's right. Let's have a good discussion with the guy who abducted Xiaoxin when we get the chance. If you don't have any ability, you want to marry our baby. It's just a dream." These guys were talking excitedly, and Shen Tianxing also heard it interestingly. Ma Hongying, the aunt, laughed and cursed, hey, you guys, what are you doing there? Today is a small on this great day, just keep your mouth shut, and if you have anything to do, wait until it's done." Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 127. Sun Yazi also patted her two tall sons and said with a smile, "Your eldest aunt is right, don't say a few hindsight. From now on, you cousins will be the support of our little star. If anyone bullies our little star, you stand up for our little star." Several cousins responded in unison, "It goes without saying, we will definitely protect Xiaoxing. That's right, whoever wants to bully Xiaoxing should get through us first." Shen Tianxing felt warm in his heart after hearing this. His 5 cousins had loved her since they were children. That is to say, after they went to college and worked, they spent less time seeing each other, but their phone calls were it has never stopped. Shen Tianxing also takes good care of her 5 cousins. It's a pity that they don't have spiritual roots, so they can only practice the Shen family boxing she taught. However, even if they only practice ancient martial arts, they are already superior to most people. Although they have no spiritual roots, their talents in practicing ancient martial arts are very good. Therefore, they performed very well in their respective universities and were assigned good jobs after graduation. The first cousin, Shen Tianrui, returned to Sioux City to work as a police officer, preparing to take over Shen Wenzhen's contacts and network in case Shen Wenzheng had a chance to rise. Second cousin Shen Tianzi just graduated from the Central Military Academy this year. Because of his excellent grades in school, he was directly assigned to work in the Kyoto military region. Next, the third cousin Shen Tianbo and the fourth cousin Shen Tianyu will also graduate. However, Shen Tianxing believes that with their outstanding performance, they can be assigned good jobs even without the backdoor of favors. The fifth cousin, Shen Tianrui, is still a sophomore at the Central Police College and is still early to graduate. As for her twin brothers, they have spiritual roots and can cultivate, so they are destined not to follow the ordinary worldly path. For her favorite twin brothers, their future has infinite possibilities. Shen Tianxing looked at their loving family, his eyes full of warm and soft light. At 9:30, the makeup artist arranged by Dugu Zixi came over to help Shen Tianxing and everyone in the Shen family dress up. They all put on their prepared attire. For more than 10 years, Shen Tianxing has been feeding her relatives with spiritual food and various nourishing and beauty products. After raising it for so many years, the hard work has certainly paid off. The Shen family members all look younger than the average person, and they all have a faint aura about them. As soon as they put these dresses on, they all exuded a calm temperament, and ordinary people would not be able to tell that they were from the countryside. Shen Tianxing looked at her relatives with great satisfaction. Whoever loves her 1 point, she, Shen Tianxing, will repay him 10 points. Today, Shen Tianxing put on that dazzling dress and made up. She also amazed the Shen family and her 3 good classmates. Shen Tianxing rarely wears these attires for banquets. Most of the time, she likes to wear more comfortable and loose casual clothes. Now this makeup instantly gives people a different feeling. Li Xiaoxia's eyes were full of admiration and love. She looked at her precious daughter and said to Shen Wenru with a smile, "Wenru, do you have the feeling that a daughter has grown up in our family?" Shen Wenru also smiled with emotion, "Of course. However, I really don't want my precious daughter to grow up. When she grows up, she will be snatched away. Shen Wenru's words made everyone laugh again. Shen Tianxing smiled slyly and said to his parents, Mom, Dad, you should think this way. My daughter is still your daughter, but she has an extra son-in-law who can be half a son to honor you. How good is this? You think so? No. The eldest aunt, Ma Hongying, laughed loudly and said, Xiao Xing is right. Third brother, third younger brother and sister, in the future you will not only have Xiao Xing to be filial, but also have an additional son-in-law to be filial. How great! Sun Yazi also nodded and smiled, yes, I think Zixi is also a filial child. The third brother and sister will be blessed in the future. After everyone had put on makeup and tidied up, at 11 o'clock, Dugu Zixi went upstairs and invited them to come down and take a seat. Shen Tianxing, the heroine, had to rehearse with them first to avoid any mistakes. At this time, many guests have already arrived in advance. When they saw Dugu Zixi and Shen Tianxing rehearsing, their eyes fell on them and they could no longer look away. Today, Dugu Zixi is wearing a handmade black suit. The stiff suit fits his slender and perfect body, and coupled with that noble and handsome face, he looks like the unattainable nobleman in reality. His eyebrows were picturesque, his temperament was cold, and his whole body exuded a sense of alienation and indifference that kept strangers away from him. His eyes only showed the slightest tenderness and affection when they fell on the beautiful and fairy-like girl next to him. Shen Tianxing is also stunningly beautiful in a lavender dress. Her skin is as fine as snow, as fine as white porcelain, and moist, and her cheeks have a faint pink color, adding a touch of delicacy to her beauty. Her starry eyes flashed with wisdom as she looked forward. When she looked at the man beside her, she was also filled with affection. When the two people's eyes collided, there was deep affection flowing in their eyes, and the corners of their lips would raise a smile in tacit understanding. The feast held by the Dugu family today can be said to have shocked the entire capital circle and even spread to the whole country. Reporters from major news media have already set up their equipment and are ready to report on the distinguished identities of these guests. Although the Dugu family is the first family, they rarely hold feasts. This time happened to be Dugu Zixi's coming-of-age ceremony, and coupled with Zixi and Tianxing's engagement, it was rare to hold such a grand banquet. The guests they invited were all celebrities from the top circles, either extremely rich or powerful. Families like the Ning family, although rich, have no power. According to normal standards, they have no chance to be present. Today, it was also because the Dugu family's feast was so big that they were barely ranked at the bottom of the list, and their position was also on the edge of the bottom. The representatives of the Ning family attending the banquet today are the head of the family, Ning Changsheng, his wife Lu Lirong, and Ning Fenji, who they have always believed to be destined to be a phoenix. When Ning Fenji and her grandfather and grandmother arrived at the banquet hall, they saw Shen Tianxing and Dugu Zixi at a glance. Ning Fenji's mind was instantly attracted by Dugu Zixi's noble, handsome, and peerless grace. Her eyes were filled with red hearts. She was so excited in her heart that she screamed, "Oh my God! She has never seen such a handsome and elegant man. Is this man the legendary Dugu Zixi? It certainly lives up to its reputation. It's so pretty, so pretty, so pretty." Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 128. Ning Fenji felt that her heart had fallen. In her heart, there is only this Dugu Zixi, and she can no longer pretend to be another man. Ning Fenji stared at Dugu Zixi with eyes full of obsession, and then thinking about her destiny, she proudly believed that Dugu Zixi and she were destined to be a couple, and no one could take away the man who belonged to her. At this time, Ning Fenji suddenly saw Dugu Zixi gently stroking Shen Tianxing's hair. She seemed to have just seen Shen Tianxing standing next to Dugu Zixi. Ning Fengji was instantly angry and resentful. When she saw Shen Tianxing's appearance clearly and how good-looking and elegant Shen Tianxing was, she hated him even more. Thinking that Shen Tianxing could get engaged to Dugu Zixi today and become a legitimate unmarried couple with Dugu Zixi, Ning Fengji was even more angry and wanted to kill someone. Why did this little bitch take her place? That position should be hers. It belongs to her, Ning Fengji. Ning Changsheng turned his head and saw the twisted expression on his granddaughter Ning Fengji's face, and he snorted coldly in his heart. What a fool! He doesn't even know how to hide his emotions. If her current expression was photographed by the reporters at the scene, or if a lady from a certain family caught her eye, it would not only ruin herself, but also ruin the reputation of the Ning family. People outside would say, their Ning family doesn't know how to teach their daughters. When Ning Changsheng thought of these terrible consequences, he immediately lowered his voice and said to Ning Fengji with a hint of sternness, "Fengji, pay attention to your expression. I don't care what you are thinking now, don't show it to me. If something goes wrong, what a mistake, don't expect to have the opportunity to attend a banquet of this level again." Ning Fengji was shocked when she heard her grandfather's warning. She was considered a somewhat clever person, so she immediately put away the expression on her face, pretended to be well behaved, and said to Ning Changsheng with a smile, "Grandpa, I know I was wrong. Don't worry, I won't embarrass you of." Ning Changsheng felt relieved when he saw that she had returned to her well-behaved, sensible, and smiling appearance. He was afraid that she had a dull head and would not be enlightened no matter how hard she said it. She was fine now and could still listen to what he said, so her IQ should be salvageable. Lu Lirong also kept listening to the conversation between her grandfather and grandson, and also looked at Shen Tianxing. Seeing Shen Tianxing's somewhat familiar face, Lu Lirong always felt as if she had seen her somewhere before, but she thought about it several times in her mind and still couldn't remember where she had seen her. Could it be that she remembered it wrong? When Lu Lirong turned her head and glanced at Ning Fengji's face, she was startled, and then suddenly realized. It turns out that Master Dugu's fiancé looks somewhat similar to their family Feng Yi. No wonder she says she looks so familiar. What a coincidence! Lu Lirong whispered this discovery to Ning Changsheng. Ning Changsheng was also surprised. His eyes looked back and forth on the faces of Shen Tianxing and Ning Fengji several times. He also felt that this was a bit unbelievable, it does look a bit similar. Ning Fengji was very unhappy when she heard that she and Shen Tianxing looked alike. "Grandpa, Grandma, how do I resemble her? She is just a country bumpkin, but I am a daughter of a famous family who was pampered and raised in the capital. They have different temperaments, can we be similar?" Being interrupted by Ning Fengji also successfully stopped Ning Changsheng and Lu Lirong from thinking further, and they no longer struggled with this. When Ning Changsheng thought about it, this little bitch blocked the way of his family Feng Yi and was destined to die. It didn't matter whether she looked like Feng Yi or not. It is precisely because of this that the time for the Ning family to discover Shen Tianxing's true identity was further extended. Today's banquet is extremely happy for Shen Tianxing. But for Ning Fengji, watching the scene after scene of Dugu Zixi and Shen Tianxing falling in love, she felt as painful as being bitten by thousands of ants. The resentment towards Shen Tianxing in her heart was building up, and in the end she even swore in her heart that she would kill her. Dugu Zixi and Shen Tianxing are both immortal cultivators, and they are most sensitive to the auras emitted by humans. When they felt the strong murderous aura emanating from Ning Fengji's body, Dugu Zixi and Shen Tianxing noticed them. Shen Tianxing sensed the qi and blood pulling from the blood vessels of Ning Changsheng, Lu Lirong, and Ning Fengji, and she understood instantly. These three people are her blood relatives. The girl who has the strongest blood connection with her, but looks at her with hatred on her face, is probably her twin sister, right? As expected of a person raised by the Ning family, his eyes were so vicious at such a young age. She has nothing to do with her now, right? Why do you want her to die? Shen Tianxing recalled the conversation he heard from the Ning family when he was just reincarnated. At that time, Lu Lirong once roared and said, "Throw it out. Throw it out quickly, my god, what kind of destiny is this? I think it's more like a disaster star coming to the world. Quick! Kill her quickly! Kill her!" The old man from the Ning family said at the time, "Master Xianyuan is a master of arithmetic. He will never make mistakes. This is not good. Isn't there a good-looking child there? We only need to use this three-eyed just deal with all the monsters and leave the good one alone. Born with a phoenix life? Look at the Prince Dugozixi next to her, haha, she understands, this is why they want her to die." It seemed that she had figured out that the person in the capital who wanted her life was the Ning family. There was a hint of coldness in Shen Tianxing's eyes. She opened her heavenly eye directly to Ning Changsheng. As expected, she saw in her heavenly eye that Ning Changsheng called another person and asked him to contact Blackthorn. If the assassination failed, he also increased the price. "I want Blackthorn to take action again, ha ha ha." People connected by blood actually wanted her life again and again. Even though Shen Tianxing had no feelings for them, he still felt a little cold in his heart. However, people who want her life usually don't live long. Although the Ning family gave her life, this lifelong relationship was already broken when they personally ordered her to be killed. Now that they want their lives again, even if she wants to deal with them, there will be no cause and effect. Of course, even if she wants to deal with them, she will never let Tiandao seize the opportunity to punish her. There are too many ways to make a life worse than death, and she doesn't have to do it herself. Dugozixi sensed her emotional fluctuations, reached out and held her hand, and whispered to her through voice transmission, "Xiao Xing, today is our great day, don't let these irrelevant people affect our life mood. If there's anything, we'll deal with it after today, okay?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 129. Shen Tianxing looked into his gentle, watery eyes, and his mood that had just become gloomy suddenly seemed to become clear again. She smiled lightly at him and responded softly, "Okay." Dugozixi reached out and caressed her face, and said, "Be good." Shen Tianxing stared at him speechlessly, then burst out laughing and said with an angry smile, "You still think you are my master? In this life, I will not let you be my master." Dugozixi smiled lowly, "Well, I don't want to be your master either, I just want to be your lover." The word lover came out of Dugozixi's mouth softly. It seemed particularly low and seductive. Shen Tianxing's heart trembled as if it had been electrocuted. Just when the two people looked at each other, the staff from the etiquette company came over to remind Dugozixi and Shen Tianxing that the banquet was about to start in 10 minutes, and asked the two heroes and heroines to get ready quickly. 12 o'clock sharp. All the guests who came to the banquet arrived without even landing. Dugozixi's coming-of-age ceremony and his and Shen Tianxing's engagement party also officially kicked off. The first person to take the stage to speak was General Dugu, who was wearing a military uniform. He glanced around at the guests present and expressed his gratitude to everyone in his still loud voice. "Dear guests, relatives, and friends, on behalf of the Dugu family, I would like to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend my grandson Dugozixi's adult banquet and engagement banquet." The old man's face, which was always serious and resolute, was already obviously excited when he said this. After a pause, the old man continued to say with emotion, "Today is a very good day. Our Dugu family has two great things to announce to the public. The first good thing is that the eldest grandson of our Dugu family, Dugozixi's 18th birthday has arrived. This also means that the new generation of heirs of our Dugu family has grown up, and from today on, he will also officially step into the family. He should shoulder his responsibilities and obligations to society, and contribute his share to society, his family, and his family. The second happy event is that my eldest grandson Dugu Zixi has been fortunate enough to find his like-minded future partner, Miss Shen Tianxing of the Shen family. A bright light fell right on Shen Tianxing's head. The huge display screen also revealed Shen Tianxing's true appearance. Her pure and beautiful appearance and calm fairy temperament instantly amazed all the guests. Immediately there were people whispering down there, "No wonder I was spotted by Master Dugu, she is so beautiful." That is, if you don't stand out, how can you win the attention of the Dugu family? This girl is not only good looking, but I have heard that her medical skills are also top-notch. She even cured young Master Dugu and General Li, who were unable to be cured by Chinese medicine. No way. How old is she? She has such great medical skills. Is she a genius? Ha ha ha, isn't he a genius? SHHH, stop talking. Let's talk about it when we get back. Let the old general speak first. Everyone focused their attention on the stage again. The sonorous and powerful voice of Mr. Dugu resounded throughout the audience. Today is also the engagement banquet between Zixi and Tianxing. On behalf of our Dugu family, I would like to welcome Tianxing to join our Dugu family and become a member of our Dugu family. I am also here. I wish them a lifetime of love and longevity. Thank you everyone. After Mr. Dugu bowed slightly to express his gratitude to everyone, he returned to the host's seat and sat down with the support of guard Lu Yan. After the host watched Mr. Dugu go down, he picked up the microphone again and said with a smile, "Next, I would like to invite our most handsome male protagonist today, Mr. Dugu Zixi, to come to the stage to speak." Dugu Zixi stood up, adjusted her suit, and then walked onto the stage step by step. There was no trace of panic on his extremely handsome face, only calmness, as if he could calmly control everything in the world in his hands, making people dare not look down on him because of his youth. He just stood on the stage, his deep eyes swept down the stage. Everyone present felt a pressure approaching, and they all couldn't help but respect Dugu Zixi on the stage. This strong and overbearing pressure was deliberately unleashed by Dugu Zixi, in order to let everyone know that he, Dugu Zixi, was not someone to be trifled with. No matter which world he is in, Dugu Zixi firmly believes in one truth: the weak will eat the strong, and the strong will be respected. What's more, in his previous life, he was a supreme figure respected by everyone in the immortal world. Even the immortal emperor had to give him face and did not dare to provoke him. In this secular world with only mortals, wouldn't it be a joke if he, Dugu Zixi, could not become the supreme being in the human world? At this moment, Dugu Zixi fell in the eyes of everyone, as if a god descended to earth, as stable as a Mount Tai. But in Shen Tianxing's eyes, he seemed to see the world-famous, amazingly talented master from his previous life standing in front of her again. She suddenly felt a little hot in her eyes. Dugu Zixi, who was standing on the stage, suddenly looked at her. When he saw her eyes red, he suddenly gave her a stunning smile. The next moment, Dugu Zixi withdrew the pressure he had unleashed. Everyone in the audience felt relaxed and breathed out secretly. Immediately afterwards, Shen Tianxing heard Dugu Zixi say, "Dear guests, good afternoon. I am Dugu Zixi." There was thunderous applause from the audience. Dugu Zixi continued, "Here, in addition to thanking my parents for giving me life and thanking my relatives for their care, I also want to thank one person in particular. She is my fiancée, Shen Tianxing. I believe many people know that before this, famous doctors at home and abroad had concluded that I, Dugu Zixi, would not be able to live beyond the age of 18, but now, I am standing here well. All of this was given to me by my fiancée. She saved my life, and I fell in love with her, so I decided to commit myself to her and spend my life with her. Here, I also hope that I can have her by my side at all the important moments in my life. Please allow me to invite my beloved fiancé, Ms. Shen Tianxing, to the stage and introduce me to you. The bright light fell on Dugu Zixi, followed his footsteps, and shone in front of Shen Tianxing. Shen Tianxing also looked at Dugu Zixi intently, his eyes sparkling, full of deep affection and emotion. This was the first time in her past life that she heard Dugu Zixi say such a long sentence in one breath. The most important thing was that he actually expressed his affection for her in such a long paragraph in front of so many people. Dominating the Powerful Families, Rebirth of the Strongest Divinator. Author, Long Juyu. Chapter 130. Dugu Zixi stood in front of her, looked at her with a smile, and stretched out his hand to her. Xiao Xing, follow me. Shen Tianxing looked at him with a smile, and put his hand into his palm with complete trust. Dugu Zixi held her hand tightly, as if he was holding her life. From now on, she was his, she could only belong to him, and no one could covet his love. Dugu Zixi led Shen Tianxing to the stage. The bright light shining down from above shrouded them tightly. Seeing this handsome couple, the Dugu family and the Shen family all smiled happily and sent them full blessings in their hearts. Most of the guests also blessed them with kind smiles. Only those who have other thoughts and ulterior motives like the Ning family are envious and jealous in the audience, wishing they could rush forward and steal Shen Tianxing's position as the heroine. The two stood side by side on the stage, accepting the eyes of all the guests. Dugu Zixi looked around the audience and introduced to the audience in a very serious and solemn tone, "This beautiful girl is my fiancée, Miss Shen Tianxing." Then, he raised 3 fingers to the sky and said, "I, Dugu Zixi, today, under the witness of all of you, swear to God that I will always be loyal to Miss Shen Tianxing, and will never betray or abandon me. If I violate this oath, I am willing to accept God's punishment and not enter reincarnation." Dugu Zixi is an immortal cultivator and is supervised by heaven. As soon as he makes his oath, an invisible bondage comes down from the sky and disappears in his sea of consciousness. Once he violates today's oath, he must accept severe punishment from heaven. The guests in the audience were all stunned after hearing Dugu Zixi's solemn oath. If it wasn't for his profound love, how could he have sworn such a heavy oath in front of so many high-ranking people? If Dugu Zixi couldn't do this, wouldn't he be slapping himself in the face? Does the fact that he dares to make such a vow at this time mean that he will definitely be able to do it? No matter how suspicious the people in the audience were, Dugu Zixi's vow had already moved Shen Tianxing, the Shen family, and countless women present. Shen Tianxing once again became the lucky man in the eyes of women. She can be deeply loved by a charming man like Dugu Zixi, which is really enviable and jealous. Next, Dugu Zixi continued to throw dog food at everyone. He took out a ring set with a huge pink diamond. The MC at the back was also very smart and immediately delivered a bouquet of bright red roses prepared in advance to his hand. Dugu Zixi knelt on one knee in front of Shen Tianxing, and first gave her the bright red rose with a pious look. Then, he held the ring with both hands, raised his eyes to look at her, and asked softly, "Xiao Xing, please marry me and let me love you and accompany you for the rest of your life, okay?" Shen Tianxing was so moved by him that he wanted to cry as early as the moment he swore. The joy in his heart was so full that it felt like it was going to explode. It was really indescribable. Faced with his affectionate proposal, she did not hesitate, directly stretched out her hand and said softly, "Okay." Dugu Zixi happily put the ring on her ring finger. Shen Tianxing also took out a men's ring and put it on his ring finger. Wearing the ring on the ring finger represents the most sacred commitment and the most solemn vow between each other.